everybody, my name is Elliot Waters and you're listening to the Dysregulated podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Now, I don't know about you guys, but birthdays usually are a really good opportunity to ruminate and reflect on the negatives and the things that we haven't achieved and what we would like to do better. But this year I'm going to try and do things a little bit differently. And that is because, in part, a big part of it is that last year I was in a hospital bed in a psychiatric ward and things were looking very dire indeed. And although, as I sit here as a very young, although he feels old, 33-year-old, and there are a few things that I wish were a little bit different, just a few. There are a lot of things that are happening that weren't happening last year, that's for sure. Like, for starters, I'm not in hospital, and that's a good thing. Not only is it a good thing, it probably should be celebrated. So that is something that I'm definitely going to be focusing on. And there's other things too, I allude to these different projects I'm working on at the moment, which is great, which has happened over the last 12 months. But there's been a real sort of fundamental shift in the way that I view the self. So this time last year, I had a very dim opinion of myself, which was so dim, in fact, that that's why we ended up in hospital, or at least partly. Whereas this year, it's different. I have a much more positive view of the self, and we're putting ourselves as the number one priority at the moment, and we've got some pretty strong boundaries, and we're back exercising, and these are things that just were not happening last year. So that is something, those things there is definitely something to be celebrated. Now, my natural disposition is to focus on the negative, but I'm really trying, and I'm doing a pretty good job at the moment, although it's only 10:30 in the morning, but I am really trying to focus on the good things and be very, very grateful for what I've had and where I've come, because it's been a bit of a journey. The journey continues, that's for sure, but the differences between turning 32 versus turning 33 are huge and very much positive for the most part, and that's the part that I need to be focusing on, even if my natural inclination is not to do that at all. But again, that's part of the progress, see, because there would have still been things last year to be grateful for. Like, for example, I was in hospital, but a lot of my friends and family came to visit me, and we actually had a pretty good time, all things considered. But those things back then, I didn't take for granted. I just wasn't able to see the positivity that was there. I tried, but it just wasn't there. Whereas this year, I'm seeing positives. Even if I do have to go to work today, that sort of sucks. Don't you hate working on your birthday? But anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. But the main thing is the fundamentals have definitely been improving, and that is a really good thing. Like, even, something physical, like my weight back last year, I was sitting around 61, 62 kilos. This year, we've put on 20 kilos, and there's a little bit of blubber, but not too much. And we're now sitting around 81, 82 kilos. And people say to me often, especially those that haven't seen me for a while, "Geez, Elliot, you're looking healthier." And it's because I am. I am looking healthier. I'm feeling healthier, physically and mentally. So those are the things that I want to focus on this birthday. Because don't get me wrong, there's things that I'm not happy with, living at home with mummy and daddy and not quite having the money that I wish I would have had. I don't have the job yet that is going to really, tap into my meaning and purpose, although we're making efforts to make that happen, which is good. That's more a matter of time. That's more of a when than an if scenario, which is good. And I am very grateful for the fact that, that there are so many people in my circle that have reached out already to say happy birthday. And, it's those little things that really make you feel like you belong and you're doing something right. And for someone with Asperger's or autism, high-functioning autism, at times it can feel a little bit lonely because we are just a little bit different neurochemically. We're just that little bit different. But it's days like this where I realise that maybe the differences are actually something that people think is a positive, and that's good. And I certainly think it is too. So this year, yes, there's going to be some reflections. Definitely. I have no partner. There's no children. So my goal was always, when I was growing up as a kid and a teenager, was at age 28 I'd get married, and at age 30 I'd have my first child. So at age 33, without having either of those things, it's very easy to slip into that negative thought pattern. But I'm going to withstand that this year and push back, because there is a lot to be grateful for, and that's really what I'm honing my focus in on today. 33 years old, because there's a lot of negativity in the world. Inside my head is a constant war. It's a war zone constantly. Every day I'm battling, firing off missiles and collecting a few myself, and that's just the reality of every day. We just got to keep pushing forward, which is something I also need to be a bit more sort of thankful to the self and give myself a bit of credit, because it's true, every day is a battle, no question. But looking externally, which sometimes is hard to do, there's a lot of battles and wars going on in the world at the moment. So there's plenty to be grateful for sitting here in Australia in relative safety. Even that, if we're looking at a macro broad scale, there's a lot to be grateful for there. But even if we bring it in more to the individual, to me, there's still plenty to be grateful for as well. And I think the biggest thing I need to focus on today is the journey that we've come. As I said, I was in hospital this time last year. I was in hospital for 4 weeks, and it was my second day. And we've been in hospital again since then, but we do not look like going back to hospital now. And that's because of a lot of hard work that's been undertaken. And that's a huge, huge positive. That's a massive turnaround in 12 months. To go from, 61 kilos or whatever it was, I think it got less in the end. But, really physically unhealthy, and obviously very, very mentally unhealthy. That's why they're interconnected. Just to go from that to where we are today, just a much healthier sort of solid basis to live life on. That's pretty cool. And that's what I think I'm going to focus on today, because today is a good day. It's a celebration. There's been a lot of potentiality over the years where maybe we wouldn't make 33. But I tell you what, we have been ducking and weaving these bombs, and we're just firing a few back, and we just dig in and we fight on. And here we are, 33 years of age, and we're just about looking as good as ever. So there you go. Go, Elliot, go. All right, thank you for listening, everyone. Just a quick one, just to check in on my birthday. If anyone wants to send me birthday messages, they certainly can on Instagram at elliot.t.waters, and you can follow the show at thedysregulated.podcast. And if you haven't given the show a rating yet, it would be a great birthday present if you were to give the show 5 stars on your favourite podcasting platform. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time here on the Dysregulated podcast.